to be honest, right? Ja, whether people want to believe it or not, whether the listeners want to believe it or not, Ja is the face of the NBA.
Ooh.
He is.
Ooh.
He is this generation's Allen Iverson, and I'll say it from this standpoint. The kids look at him
Mm-hmm.
and they see more him or them than they
Mm.
do when they look at LeBron or when they
Mm-hmm.
look at who's
Jason
on that?
Tatum.
Jason Tatum
Yeah.
and those guys.
It's your boy Verse, and this is Open Mike with OTR Mike.
Shit, yeah.
Yo, what up, good people? It's your boy, OTR Mike. And let me be the first to welcome you to another episode of Open Mike with yours truly. That's right, people. This is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. And I am going to put that to truth on this next episode. Look, man, I got a special guest, and he's probably the first one that we're going to try and live up to the format of my show, right? Before I bring him on, as I start every show, let me thank you guys for tuning in. You know, continue to rock with me on this solo journey. And just checking on your boy, man. I appreciate that. But like I said, I open every show by saying this is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. And to be honest with you, the idea behind that is as I move forward to start to have more guests, I want the show to be about what they want to talk about. That's why the mic is open. So this is probably my first guest where we gonna live up to that. So let me introduce my brother. He like my cousin too. Um, but that's my man, Dawood Wallace of the Wallace Way. We gonna talk about that too and getting that back on whatever what's going on. What's up, Ooh?
Peace, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh man, anytime. I love you. Been loving you since like 91, 92. It's been a
Pause. My
pause,
listeners might
pause.
take that the wrong way.
That's all right though. No, it's a beautiful format structure. I'm ready to go. I got a couple things I wanted to kind of go over with you and chat about. I really haven't seen you in a bit. We only live like 45 minutes away, but we only see each other
I
like
feel like
four times a year.
I feel like I just saw you a couple weeks ago.
I did come through. I did come through.
Come on,
Shout
man.
out to the egg rolls too. That boy, and I had to go make them. The vegan joints too. They good.
What you
Really
have in
good.
yours?
Well, the wraps are vegan, right? But
Oh,
I
okay,
had shrimp and I did the chicken cheesesteak joint, chopped it all up real
okay.
nice, put
Yeah.
the extra layer of cheese on it. Not Gouda though, not Gouda. And it came out real good though.
Shout out to the wife, man.
Shout
She
out to the
made
wife.
some
Definitely.
Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. And Ooh came over the perfect day for that.
Yeah.
And them joints were slamming. So
Yeah, definitely.
shout out to the wife for that. But yeah, man, look, short notice. You know how I ain't gonna. I almost said colored people, but you know how we do. Hey, I'm free, yo. What you doing? I'm
Right.
free too. So let's get it
Let's
together
rapid taste.
for sure. But like I said, man, this is the show where the mic is open, yo. So what is it that you want to discuss?
Okay, two things that was really kind of circulating in my brain this week, well, last 2 weeks. But number one, we got to talk about Ja Morant. He's shit right now. He's probably the most popular player in the world, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not for the reason he wants, but whatever. And like you said, when I talk of these type of things, I don't get into the right or wrong of it. Like that's so subjective, right? What's right to you may be wrong to me, and vice versa. That's not the point. The point I'm making is this, to me, has come off as another example of a digital lynching of a young brother
Okay.
that has really irked me. And first it started with, I know this guy's bad or whatever, but first it started with Kanye early last year.
Yeah.
It was a digital lynching Wasn't about right or wrong, right? Because I don't think some of the stuff he says is crazy. There's no doubt about it. That doesn't give you the right, though, to cancel a person's livelihood, mess with their family, do a whole lot of things. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's cool, right? Then we saw with Kyrie Irving, another NBA baller. We saw a straight, as I call it, a digital lynching. And I guess you can quote me on that, and I'll trademark this. I want my money. Anyone who uses it. This is a digital lynching. What happened to Kyrie Irving? It was, you don't have to agree with what he said. Whatever. That's not the point we're talking about. Those are subjective things. We're talking about taking a man's livelihood, suspending him. How many games did he miss at some point?
It was a good bump.
It was a substantial amount. And who decided that was the number? See, that's what I'm getting at, Mr. Parker. I'm getting at and now let's move to the Ja Morant thing, right? This guy goes on Instagram Live, shows a pistol at a little 22 for 4 seconds, right? Like, and he's literally been suspended. It's felt like a month now, right?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it, brother.
Did he name it Peggy Sue?
He named it Peggy Sue, a little 22 in his shoe. And is it wrong for him to post a gun? Yeah, sure, it's wrong, right? I mean, God forbid that's how this country was not per se discovered, but maintained its strong force is through the threat of violence with guns. Guns change the fabric of America, and they're legal and all that other stuff. That, once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but I do watch a lot of Matlock. So Ja Morant, and who decided that he's supposed to get 10 games for his transgression? Where is that in the bylaw of the NBA that says if you go on social media and do something, you get games?
Listen, so all right, so I hear everything you're saying,
Yeah,
and,
no doubt.
you have some very, very valid points. I do think, to use your word, or what you're going to patent, and do all of that.
Mhm.
There are some lynchings that, as you say, that go on social media and internet and all of the above. But to play a little bit of devil's advocate,
Yeah, no doubt.
do you think these brothers, the ones that you named in particular, bring these situations on themselves?
Sure. It's not about a right or wrong thing. If my son or if my buddy did that, I mean, he's got to suffer the consequences. Who decides those consequences, though, right? We have the National Basketball Association. We have a weak, non-wartime consigliere in Adam Silver, a nice guy. He's a really nice guy, and he was really good for the post-David Stern era, right? The player empowerment era. That's what you people call it, right? He's really good at that. This is a new NBA that's forming. It's coming. Like, the storms are coming. You see it coming, right? We have the Ja Morant thing, right?
Right.
We have the number 2 player at University of Alabama's an accessory to murder. He ain't miss a game. He ain't miss a practice. Ja Morant went on Instagram Live with the starter pistol for 4 seconds and has missed 10 games when this is all over, and potentially will be missing out on $40 million if he doesn't make All NBA, which we assume that he probably won't. $40 million.
Yeah.
So that's to me, it's not about the right or wrong of his transgression. It was dumb. It was stupid, I guess, coming from a 41-year-old perspective. At 22, 23, who am I to judge, right? Point I'm making is, who's deciding? Where's his due process? Where's a certain standard here? You can't just suspend someone. So the next guy that shows a gun, what does he get? 15 games? What about the next guy who gets a DUI? Does he get 45 games? Oh, but I'm sorry to interrupt. As you see, I'm really passionate about this.
I see.
And God forbid it's another player gets a DUI or something, because Hennessy is the lead sponsor of the NBA. Listen, guys, listen. once we get the emotional side of it and forget the right or wrong thing or the dumb or smart thing to do, this brother has lost $40 million.
Yeah.
His reputation is spoiled. It's gone now. Did you see that interview / hostage interview he had with Jalen Rose the other week?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch it. I watched the clips that I saw. It just seemed too staged for me. So I didn't feel like it was you know, a real genuine conversation. Obviously, it just felt like the questions have been gone over, which I'm sure that's probably the case. And Ja didn't do a good job of hiding the fact that he had already
Scripted.
answered those questions already.
Yeah.
But
And
go ahead.
no, and that's the point, though. It's like the great Marty Marr said, image, right? And that's what we're seeing now. So what do we have here? We have a new NBA that's forming. And for us old timers who, grew up in the 90s and then the 2000s, so we saw the Mike era, then we saw the Kobe Shaq era, and then we went to the LeBron era. So now we're at a whole new era, Parker. And I'm telling you, I don't think people are ready for this shit that's coming. Because it's a storm coming of these youngins now. They out of control. They got, remember, now you can, after your 5th year, if you're all NBA or that specific type of player, you're getting $150, $200 million. Now, what is LaMelo Ball, who we love LaMelo Ball. I got all his sneakers, all the jerseys, all that. What is he going to do with $200 million at 22, 23? Like, what do you think he's going to do?
What are you already doing?
Bingo. But now I got 200 mil. So now I only got 25 now. So I can go crazy, but I can't go super crazy. 200, I'm going to do it. Man, boy, they not ready for this new NBA that is really controlled by social media.
Yeah.
That is controlled by, and yeah, the music does play a role in it. So let's just stop. It always has, right? Like our parents listen to, Parliament Funkadelic. You want me to tell you about some of those wild parties? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not be so, back in our day, we did crazy stuff too. I mean, let's just stop that, right? So I don't know where this is going. I kind of see where this is going. What do you think the new NBA as I coined it?
So let me pick your brain a little bit on all of this. So
yes, sir.
One, the musical influence, right? Like you said, there's a music influence, but all the time, especially in our era, right? Rappers want to be ball players want to be rappers, right? And that has not changed. They try to be, now it's just more than being best buds now, and they, the lifestyles are integrated.
Right? They have totally intertwined. Yep, totally.
So yeah, that's that, right? But let's, as we speak on Ja Morant, let's not leave out though, right? He had a good 2-3 weeks period where it didn't look good, right? And he ended it with toting his 22, who he's saying it wasn't his or whatever now, but allegedly not his. So I think those things led up to all of this. I mean, there was a lot of talk of him beating up a kid, 17-year-old kid, pointing, pulling the gun on him. Then the whole thing with the Pacers, or where he was in Indiana, and guns with the infrared lights on him, all of that, right? Then of course the snowball of all the other videos come out of him drinking alcohol on the plane and things like that. So Adam Silver in the NBA, right, had to jump in one way or another. Now there are conduct clauses and rules within their contracts and in the NBA, so I guess they tried to fit this situation under that. And to be honest, right, Ja, whether people want to believe it or not, whether the listeners want to believe it or not, Ja is the face of the NBA.
Ooh.
He is this generation's Allen Iverson, and I'll say it from this standpoint. The kids look at him and they see more him or them than they do when they look at LeBron or when they look at
Jason Tatum
and those guys, right? they see more him. He looks like what they want to look like, the dreads, you know, the flashy chains, you know, all of that. The grills, you know, he got all of that. So that's where it's scary or tricky, right, for the situation. Now, Ja does have a job of recognizing that he is the face of this league, right? And maybe he didn't know that, but I'm sure he knew how popular he was and how much the kids are starting to look up to him. Imagine Ja was in New York or somewhere like that. Like he would be super big. So just him being in Memphis and pushing himself to the forefront of being the next face of this league, like that's huge. So when you got kids who look up to him, and you on your IG live and you toting the gun and you drink, you facing bottles to the head, it's just not a good look. Now, Charles Barkley went over this before. I'm not your kid's role model, right? Like,
yes, he did.
you know,
yes, he did. This is. I'm sorry. Is this before or after he threw a guy out the window? I'm sorry. Go on, Sir Charles. I love you. One of my top 5 players, but you got to chill with the whole back in my day stuff because you were terror. Go on.
Right. So they do, whether they want to accept it or not, man, they do have a certain image, a certain way they had to carry themselves for their younger fans. So that's just me playing a little devil's advocate on that situation. So Ja, the stories that were coming out slowly but surely, and then him putting the cherry on the top with that video. The NBA had to get a hold of this in one way or another. His PR team, he had to be a nightmare to his PR team.
100%,
What was going on.
100%.
And Lord knows, if they wouldn't have got a hold of this, what else would have came out?
What was next? Yeah.
And the NBA, they're not stupid. Adam Silver and the dudes, they know we need this guy. We got to sell tickets. We need, they know what they got in this kid. So they had to get a hold of it. So that's my spiel on Ja Morant. And him, you know, honestly bringing some of this heat on himself. Now, the new NBA, I am with you on this. I do think, I mean, look at Ja, right? Look at, like you said, LaMelo. And then look at like 5th, 6th stringers like Dylan Brooks, like people like that. Like, it's a new attitude.
Yes.
Coming over the horizon. And I don't know if the league is ready from a PR standpoint, right? And typically they're good at capitalizing off of stuff like this, but I don't know if they can. I mean, they tried to, when it got a little out of their reach or out of hand for them with Allen Iverson. Remember, they tried to bring the dress code.
The dress code,
that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do, but I do agree. There is a new NBA coming. These dudes are younger and younger, and the paper is still coming, and it's going to be more and more paper and more money that comes through, and that's funneled through their pockets. So I don't know. So let me ask you. So let me spin it to you in this regard.
Yes, sir.
How does the NBA get a hold of this new thing coming in, or do they embrace it and try to spin it another way to their benefit?
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's a couple layers to this whole NBA new thing, right? Like, you know, like I said, when we was in, 6th, 7th grade, we would watch a full game, We go over to the Max house, watch it on the big screen, right? We're watching Bulls versus Knicks. The games were compelling. We watch a full game. Nowadays, I'm not going to lie to you. I watch House of Highlights. I watch 30-second clips on Twitter. Then I act like I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I don't watch a full game. The full game is very tough to watch. How does the NBA quantify that now with their new media deal? I mean, you spending $2 billion for something that, what did the NFL have? 82 of the top rated games just of last year.
Yeah.
The NBA had none. So we're talking a whole generation that's not even watching full games. Add that to the fact that now we're getting a whole new type of NBA player who's going to be up to making 150 with the salary skyrocketing. 22, 23. Now I got $200 million. I got $150 million. The NBA, how do they get their arms around this? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if, well, definitely Adam Silver is not the David Stern type to, he's squashing shit. David Stern is, before it even gets out of control, I'm just going to, you're coming into the league office and we're going to have a chat.
Right.
Adam's not that guy. I'm not sure Adams even longed to be an NBA commissioner. I've heard rumors. I've heard the rumors that he's going to head him to Disney because they need a new president. Bob Iger retired, so that could be a good move for him. And he could pivot and be like, "I'm not even dealing with this. Y'all can have that." Shit,
I'm
right?
out of here.
So I don't know, bro. I really don't know how they get their arms around it. Right? Like you said, they could even embrace it. Sometimes that's the best way, right? Like just it is what it is. We're gonna double down on our social media. We're going to double down on getting Hennessy, and maybe we can get Black and Mild as another sponsor. Dutch Masters. I don't know who, but how about this? You don't think soon is going to be a marijuana sponsor?
Possibly.
Right? Like, dude, Hennessy is the sponsor. So, like, when they say don't drink, and Ja's being lambasted for, drinking, I'm like, but your sponsor, like, that's who's pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into this organization. It's just an interesting world. We're going to always watch the NBA. I don't know if I care about it as much as we did when we were younger, but naturally,
Right.
most things we don't care about the same way, right? So we'll see. I'm just, I hope Ja. I hope he just goes brazy though when he comes back though. I'm talking about like dropping 40 and just like understanding that what he did. I hate to use the word right or wrong. That's so corny. But that wasn't the right format or the right platform to be acting like that. So
right now
we'll see.
So now the NBA has their own problems that you kind of touched on already outside of this situation with viewership being down. Like you said, man, nobody's watching a full game anymore.
Hell no.
And with the social media era, you don't have to, right? You said there's a clip, a 30-second clip that goes over all the highlights of the game, and you've seen everything that you want to see anyway. Now I see Adam Silver. They're trying. The NBA is trying different things. Like I don't know if you saw with like the NBA app or whatever it is, you can like put yourself into the game. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but almost like a virtual reality type thing. Okay.
So they're trying different things like that to try to draw, especially this younger crowd, and keep them engaged. I guess they feel like you'd watch the whole game if you're watching yourself in the game. Cool idea, right?
Sure.
But I don't know if it's enough. But you add on top of that this image situation, and it is a tough task, right? And I think the NBA feels like, for the most part, up until this point, they had a solid. They corrected that, what they thought was an issue with image in the past, right? With these guys wearing whatever they was wearing. And you had LeBron and those guys at the forefront, and they holding it down. So that was the point person. So it's a tall task, and Adam Silver might be on his way out. That might be his way away from this. Like, hey,
yeah, like I've had enough. I've done it. Y'all got to figure this out because I'm going to.
I don't know if I want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Right? But back to Ja, man. Let me ask you this: we know he got $40 million on the line. Do you think he did enough to make All NBA? I mean, I feel like he.
No.
You don't?
But I mean, yeah. How many? 82 games. He's missed roughly, let's say 20. He ain't gonna get it. They're not gonna vote for him.
Voters won't vote. Yeah.
See, this is the thing. Can you imagine $40 million be tied if someone actually likes you? Like, not what I did on the court, not my merit, but if someone actually liked me. It's all these narratives, and the narrative going around now that Ja is the bad guy, right? Like that's the narrative going around. almost like the MVP, right? The MVP is the narrative that like it's, and I know my Philly fans are gonna be upset at me, but it's like the sympathy Embiid vote. You know,
Is
it's
it really
like
sympathy? I mean, balling.
but he's been balling the last 4 years, right? He's a great player. It's now it's the narrative of it's his time. Because if we want to dump in just stats into a computer, I actually guarantee that Joker would be number one, and then Greek would be number two, and then Embiid would be number three. Now my NBA stat geeks can go do that, but it's all narrative based, and that's what this whole all NBA thing is narrative based, and it's going to cost Ja $40 million. So
That's a lot of bread.
it's a lot of bread, definitely.
So, all right, answer this.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for Ja? What does he have to do? Does he come in? and you know what? I laugh, right? But it's not really funny. But what I was expecting, what I before they even talked about the Jalen Rose interview, like I expected like him to show up with his hair cut, clean cut off his dreads, like just have a
Image,
whole
right?
image, right? What's next for him, man? And how does he continue to move forward as the player he is and not lose himself? Like, part of how he plays is who he is, right?
Bingo. It's tough to take away those two because he is only but 6 feet, 170 pounds.
Right.
He's playing with giants. What's next for Ja? I actually think Memphis is going to make a really deep run. I would love to see them versus Golden State. Of course, we love Dylan Brooks. He's like our new villain. If they get to the finals, let's just say there's a path that Memphis gets to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Do we forget all this? Not forget, but does it kind of become just like blah? Like when I'm thinking about the Brandon Miller story in Alabama, right? It's still a story, but is it?
It's not.
Like it's almost like, okay, yeah, I'm an accessory for murder. Legally, I guess I didn't do anything. But I'm still gonna play. And shit, they might win the championship. They're that good. He's that good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's next for Ja, but hopefully he gets all his breads back. And I mean, he's 22. I can't judge someone for their lifetime transgressions at 22, right? So we'll see.
He's a PR.
But it is a new NBA, so he could have a new mixtape coming out by Friday. And this, you know what I'm saying? He just, he with the ops, boy. He got them ops. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, all right. So how do you feel about Memphis now leaving cities like Miami and Los Angeles and Chicago and places like that? right after the game. That's that.
Well, we got a 2-week stay in Salt Lake City, Portland. I mean, like this is what it is. That could be a new wrinkle of how to stop the new NBA, but it's not gonna matter, right? These guys can get it popping anywhere. It's not gonna matter. Portland, Sacramento.
I mean, he was in Denver, right?
He was in Denver, right? Like, come on, I'm gonna get it. Listen, I got 200 million. This is nothing to me. I'll fly you in wherever you want to go. All my crew coming with me.
Right.
And so it's just the NBA is really knee-jerkish because they have no plan. They have no big-time wartime consigliere leadership. So they're knee-jerkish to everything. Like every new rule. Oh, we're going to have a play-in tournament next year. Nobody cares.
Right.
Like, no one. It's just they need to get their arms around this. And it might be a new commissioner that needs to see a different vision. So
that was my question, man. What type of commissioner do we need over top of this new NBA? And do you have a name or a person in mind?
I don't have a name. I know Mark Tatum is he's next in line, and he's great, really good guy. So it's kind of what everything is going to have to. There's going to be new wrinkles to all of this. It's just new wrinkles that they're going to have to figure out. And the player empowerment era that LeBron has started. This is kind of the next phase. The first phase was Players can go to any team they want to, right? When we was growing up, Charles Barkley couldn't join the Bulls if he wanted to.
Right.
But now we grew up in an era where, like, yeah, I want to go play with my buddy. We want to go to Brooklyn together, right?
Mhm.
So this is the next step in player empowerment era. It's literally doing what the F I want. I'm 23 with 200 mil in the bank. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna say no?
How you gonna stop me?
How you gonna stop it, right? But we'll see.
Interesting times, man. The NBA, they got some tall tasks ahead of them, man, and we'll see how they handle this. I think Ja will come back, and I think he'll be on his perfect behavior, at least to finish the season. You know, he might need to, you know, take his crew down from 20 to about 3 for a little bit. Look, I'll holler at you when I come back. But
yeah, just stay in the crib. Just stay in the crib.
Yeah, like he might have to do that. You know, his PR team has their work cut out ahead of him. But winning cares everything, man.
It definitely what is it? Bill Parcells says the best deodorant.
Yeah, and if he comes back, like you said, and they go on a deep run, and he becomes the darling of the playoffs like he did a year ago, you know, all may be forgotten. You know, and they move on. So we'll see, bro. It's interesting, and it'll be interesting to watch it all unfold. I think ultimately that's what Adam Silver wants. Is this just to disappear?
He wants us to go far away.
And I'm sure that was a part of the meeting when they met. Like, listen, bro, relax. All right, relax. You know what I'm saying? You beating up 17-year-olds, you know, you put at pickup games. Of course you're better than him, bro. Just chill. Like, why are you even there? Why are you there? You know what I mean? Like, but all right. Well, one last question about Ja, then we'll move on to your next.
Okay.
Next up. What do you think about this narrative or the pictures, or you know, because you know Twitter FBI agents they on point.
Deep cover.
So they pulling up all of this stuff, how Ja played at private schools and all of this, and he being fake tough guy, right? What do you think about all of that, man? And is it a fake tough guy thing for you? Is it just him? Because I mean, you hear a lot of NBA guys coming out and saying, "Look, what Ja doing, like we was doing 10 times worse."
Listen. The whole narrative, and I hate it because it has racial undertones, right? Like, oh, he's a fake tough guy, and he's this and that. Honestly, I see Ja's very genuine. I don't take this as no act or nothing. He is very genuine, and if this is what he's into, this is what he's into. And then, you know, the whole narrative of he came from a 2-parent household. He can't be bad. Shit. Right. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Are you kidding? Like, that's like, are we that dumbed down that we have to think that someone has both parents, whatever that even means, right? That they can't be a certain way or a certain, that's just crazy talk, but it's so 2023, 22. You know, it's this whole era, this time that is so corny. And, you know, you kind of just distance yourself from it, but you can't because we're living in the world, right? We don't live in a bubble. So I find Ja to be quite genuine. I really do. I don't think this is an act. I think this is what he's into. This is what he is. You know, as he gets older, he might transition to something else, or he just might be what it is.
And he's what, 22?
22 or 23. Like, he's a kid.
So he's a kid, and he's rich.
Extremely. And more importantly, you know, the money's one thing, but he has a lot of, what's I'm looking for? It's like the fame is worth more than the money. The attention, the need to keep up, the need to have your crew with you the whole time and not putting people in different positions and spots. The money's one thing, no doubt about it. It makes you do crazy things, but he might have been acting like this with $17 in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of, what a hope say, you are who you are before you got here, right? You know, the money's one thing, but I just always think Ja is pretty genuine. He's never came across phony to me. What about you?
Nah, I mean I don't buy into all of that, right? I do think I do think you have to act accordingly, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I do understand why that follows you, like where we grew up at, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, we had cats that act like fools, and we like, bro,
Yeah.
we know where you live, right? We know we know you live in a $500,000 house, right?
Right.
But
Right.
you
Right.
but you walk in the streets and acting like you from the slums. That's one thing. But I personally like the kid. I think, but the word that I just used is kid. Like he's a kid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And with a lot of money in his pocket. And sometimes, man, like and you made an excellent point about being more enamored with the fame
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
so much of the money.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go back to his backstory where he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't highly recruited,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
Went
Small school.
went to small school, right?
Had to grind out for three. But he went 3-4 years in college, right?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So feeling like you were looked over the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're here and you're on this stage. You get on that stage and you put your arms up like I'm here. This is
I'm
me.
here. And now I
It's
can
it's
really
my
act a
turn,
fool.
right? And now I can do what I want to do because
Uh-huh.
y'all know who I am and what it is. So good points, man. I'm glad that you know that was one of the things that you wanted to discuss while the mic was open to you. But
Yeah, yeah,
there's
and
something else.
yeah, it's one quick thing. I know we're short on time, so I just want to run through it real quick. Me being a big media guy, I love the media. I think we're in the golden era of predominantly African American TV shows. Okay,
Okay.
hear me out. Number one, we have BMF, which is quite possibly the best show on TV. Period. Genre.
Okay.
Okay. Shout out to Lou and his clips too. Yeah, I
My
gotta go
man Lou
follow
Young.
Lou Young. His clips are the best. The recaps.
Shout
Number
out to
two,
Lou. Real
shout out
quick.
to Lou.
Shout out to Lou, man. Lou,
Lou be doing big things. I be seeing him everywhere. He be with Coach Prime. He be
yeah,
here, be everything. Yo, that's my dude from around the
yeah.
way. I love that guy.
Lou is you talking about a person that's reached celebrity status and hasn't changed or just
Mm-hmm.
is genuine.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it already, man, go over the Off the Record podcast. We interviewed Lou Young, and man,
Shit feel
literally just
like 4 or 5. It feel like 4 or 5 years ago, bro.
it
It
felt
was
like a minute ago.
pre-pandemic, right?
No, I don't know. That's a good question. I gotta go check.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just as simple as me reaching out to him on Twitter, man, and he was like, "Let's do it." Shot me his number. I mean, he might have changed his number by now. I should call him while we live right now, but
Call
I
him.
ain't gonna do that.
Tell him I want the new clip out from the new BMF.
Right. But like just a genuine dude, man, and down to earth, So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Lou. But go ahead.
Shout out to Lou. So, okay, we got, like I said, BMF, which might be the number one show on TV, period, any genre. We have the Wu-Tang Show, which is incredible, Emmy nominated, from one of the biggest rap groups in the world. But, forget rap groups, one of the biggest groups, labels, names, and logos in the world. We have Bel Air, an incredible remake of The Fresh Prince. Even though we don't like Will Smith so much, it's still a great show. No, shout out to Will and Chris Rock. We like them somewhat. That's, I guess, whatever. Then we have The Godfather of Harlem, another great show by for the legendary Bumpy Johnson, starring Forrest Whitaker. And just incredible actors. Like
I hit my gums because they black.
And we, like right now, TV is at its peak with African American shows. And I know you're not a big TV guy. All right, you've never been. Yeah. I know you forever. He's never really.
Well, I watched The
TV
Wire.
Guy.
We used to get up. And...
Okay, that's one show in 30 years, bro. Okay.
I'm just saying, I watched The Wire, and then the next show that I could think of being into, I watched the Power, the original side of Power. All these Power books, I couldn't get into that.
Okay.
But then I get teased. But the only other show I followed faithfully is This Is Us.
Okay, moving on. So yeah, BMF is just an incredible show. What show I do think you would really like is Bel Air. It's on the Peacock Network, and not many people have the Peacock app. Yeah. I have it because of soccer, but Bel Air is a really good show. I
heard it was good.
And the early reviews, I saw a lot of people. I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people were saying it's fake, it's phony, it's not real. African Americans don't live like that, and I just get that shit's so corny to me. Like we all don't have to be James Evans. We all don't like.
Sure.
It's okay. Like, this is 2023. Like it's okay. Some people are doing. They put a lot of influence and importance on a lot of things, and they're successful. Why can't we be seen in that light? We have Succession. Other groups are allowed to be shown like that, but once we do it, it's like, oh, it's not real. Yeah, okay.
I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name, but that's how long ago I watched it. But like the first season of All American, I did watch that. You watch All American?
No, what is that?
So All American it's supposedly like a true. Well, it's based on true events of dang, what's the football player? Spencer Paysinger. Remember Spencer Paysinger? He went to Oregon. Okay, well, yeah. Thanks for.
What network was it on? I tell you if
it was on the CW.
See that,
but no, I think it's it's on one of the other networks now because as it blew up. But it started on the CW. It premiered in October 10th of 2018.
Okay.
It's inspired by the life of professional football player Spencer Paysinger. Right. It's on its sixth season right now. So I dropped off because it me. I am into documentaries or stories that's based on a real event. So the first season, I'm like, all right, yo, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? This is how he came up. And I'm familiar with Spencer Paysinger as a player. But then, of course, as the popularity got more, they had to add more spin to it. So then it just became like
corny.
I ain't gonna say corny. A lot of people watch it, but I just not me. But those are the last couple of shows that I've been into.
Yeah, but next time keep those to yourself because we don't know any of those. But
BMF, you watch all of them. You should try All American. You probably will like it.
I'll peep it. But no, but I'm saying, Parker, though, right now, African American TV is at its peak. Yes, it's better than when the Cosby Show, A Different World. I'm not saying it's as good as those shows, but the core of it right now, some of these shows are some of the best TV. So I want people to go understand and go watch that. Go watch Bel Air. Go watch the Wu-Tang Show. Go watch BMF. Go watch Godfather of Harlem. These are really good shows. So we're at a golden era right now. So people enjoy.
Explain the Wu-Tang show to me. Right? It's an actual show based off of events, or they are. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's its third and final season, and it basically, season one started from when before the Klan was even really, before they was formed.
Okay.
And every episode, boom, boom, you will learn more. Then the last season, of course, they were doing the album, the first 36 Chambers album, blew up. This year, you see all the solo albums, like Old Dirty had a special allegory type of episode where it was like he was like in the 1970s soul comedian type thing, and Chef and Ghost had an episode on Cuban Links. Like, it's really dope. And it, from our era, we get it because we was there,
right?
But it's a whole new era of people. Like I always tell people, you go down to anywhere, DC, this or that, you're gonna see a kid 12, 13 with the Wu-Tang shirt on.
Yeah.
Now he clearly wasn't even born at their peak, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's something about that logo that is very still endearing and cool to a certain degree. So it's a great show, man. Godfather Harlem, BMF, Bel Air, just great TV. We're at the golden era of African American shows.
So two things. One, with the Wu. I mean, speaking of them, we went to what? That was their 50th. What was that? What was that anniversary?
No, that was what was it? Was that
not 50th? That sounds so old.
It might have been 20th. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. The 20th anniversary of 36 Chambers.
Yeah. I don't know why I said 50th, but anyway,
it's 50th year of hip hop. That's what you're thinking, probably.
Yeah. But that, I mean, and them dudes still killed it.
Oh, incredible! Right. I saw them last summer. Incredible.
Yeah, they still kill it. Now, two, I have to ask this question. You know where we come from. You know what we say is the best TV show of all times. I think you still believe that.
100%.
Where do these shows compare to The Wire?
I mean, that's so unfair, bro. I mean, The Wire, The Sopranos, they're just in a different class of. It's not television at that point. It's something more than that. It's culture.
That's real cinema, right?
It's real cinema. It's just, I mean, it's these shows don't compare to that. Godfather of Harlem has the depth of acting and writing that can mess with a show like The Wire and those type shows. It has that type of depth. Forrest Whitaker's, I mean, that's a Oscar nominated, Emmy nominated actor, right? Like he's not just like, BMF is a great show, but Little Meech, I don't think he's going,
Right.
he ain't going to the Emmys next year. But he does have an it factor though. Maybe he has an it factor. He's a huge star. But none of them compare to those type shows. None of them. There's not going to be a college class on Bel Air in 20 years.
So BMF is at the top of that list right now. So the people watching, you're saying start with BMF.
Yeah, I say start with BMF. You might even want to, if you're not into the violent drug thing, whatever, right? Bel Air could be a good place to start too.
Okay.
That's a really good show, man. Really good show. And the way they flipped, The Fresh Prince was a comedy, right?
Right.
The way they flipped it now to a drama, it's really good, bro. And Carlton is just, he's an insane character actor, yo. He's insanely good, bro. It's just good TV out right now. Anyone that says, yo, nothing's good out right now, they don't want to watch anything. Yeah, they just don't want to watch. They just want to be lazy but it's some really good TV out there. So I suggest everyone please go check them out and go check out Lou Young's BMF clips, the reviews. It's hilarious.
So as we close out, right? To the avid TV watchers, if you aren't already watching those shows, as you hear my man Dawu Wallace, the Wallace way, telling y'all, like, man, that's where you start. If you're looking for some TV, you don't know where to start. Now I gotta, because we connected on it, right? And it's because we know, right? We seen it, right? Yep. You got these questions too. We gotta end with some words on The Wire since we talking TV, because there's a lot of people out here that have not seen it, which I think is crazy.
Totally.
But B, right? There's a lot of people that also make you feel like, yo, you only really like it because
we're local, because we're from
here. You get
here.
it because you're local, right? Just quickly give the people some words on the greatness of that series and why, if you have not seen it, to watch it.
100%. Yes, we are local to it, but that doesn't matter. We could be from Canada, and I got buddies in Canada who love it. Let me explain the power of The Wire. And this was actually, man, this might have been 2009. This was in the DVD box set era, right? You remember you joints, Best Buy had the display set up. You pick up, $40, $50. Now you can just go stream them on HBO Max, right? So I'm at the Best Buy, and this is in Northern Virginia. And I'm looking at season 2 of The Wire, or season 1, whatever it was. And an older white lady came up to me and says, don't you just love that Omar? And right then it clicked in my ear. This shit is big.
Yeah.
Because me and her are from the two craziest demographics, right? Like we're on the opposite sides of the world demographically. Yet the compellingness and the richness of the character Omar was so compelling to both of us. You don't get that in any other type of genre. You don't get that in any other type of show.
Yeah. That
a 70-year-old white woman and I can connect because we both love this character. This character is pulling on our heartstrings. To this day, I've never seen a character like that still. And that show ended 20 years ago, right? So it's just an incredible, it's the writing, the depth, the stories, it's nothing like it, and it's so funny because when we was watching it, and we would call each other up at night at 12:01 to be like, "Yo, did you see last week's episode?" Because, like I said, this was all pre-streaming.
Yeah,
You literally had to wait, and maybe that actually helps it though, Parker. When you think about it, maybe that romanticizes it a little bit more for us because we actually had to wait, almost the same way an album, right?
Yeah,
we remember having to go to Best Buy to buy the album on Tuesdays. But
Mhm.
now you stream an album now, you forget about it in 20, 30 minutes. It has no depth to it, no connection to it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's not even close, really, bro. And as time goes on, it actually gets bigger and bigger, the gap between that and the next shows. What do you think?
Yeah. So to piggyback off what you said, right? First and foremost, I started watching The Wire, I think in season 4.
Mm.
I think when the kids started being integrated. So I think that
mhm.
was season 4.
Season 4, yep.
And fell in love with the show instantly, right? That I went and bought the very box set that Daoud is talking about.
Yeah, the box sets, yeah.
And I binged season 1, 2, 3 till I got caught up. And as Daoud said, like, you had to, I think it dropped on Sundays, right? And then at 12:01, they dropped the next one. And we would stay up and wait for the next one. So we were always a week ahead, right? But I had the same type of run-in with a 60 plus 70-year-old white woman that I used to work with. I mean, the sweetest, like most mellow, most calm. Like she just puts you in a place of somebody that just listens to classical music, and she sits there and she just, oh, this is so.
And that cup of tea with that one finger.
Yeah. So I mean, like she almost reminded me of my grandmother, just how calming she was. Like, beautiful lady, man. Shout out to Miss Preston, man. And I don't remember how we got on the subject. But she asked me, I think it went somewhere along the lines of she asked me if I watched The Wire. That's exactly what it was. I remember telling you the story. She asked me if I watched The Wire, and I turned around like, yeah, do you? And she was like, yes, I just love that Omar. That is just acting at its peak. And I was like, Miss Preston, you watched The Wire? And she was like, yes, like I love that show. I mean, the acting, she just like, and she saw it from a different, perspective, I guess.
Right.
But she saw the acting in it, like, and she broke it down like that. And I was like, wow. And like you said, here I am connecting with the 60 to 70-year-old white woman who otherwise we, outside of being co-workers, we have no connection at all. But The Wire connected us.
Art, man. And that's the beauty of art. When good art is transcendent. Art has no color. Art has no ego. Art is art. And when humans get to that point of loving art, it's like Michael Jackson, right? Like he doesn't white, black, it doesn't matter. It's good art. It's great art. And that's what The Wire is, man. Flat out great art. Art. Shout out to Lance Reddick too. He passed away.
Lance Reddick passed away.
He's only 62, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Very
sad, young. Man.
Very young.
I had to ask you about The Wire because that's what we did. And my listeners, a lot of my listeners and followers know, because I speak about it all the time, how I met Prop Joe. And Daoud was with me. And he witnessed me fan out.
Yo, was that Prop Joe? And it's like, to us, he's like a freaking, like,
he was a god
star. Yes,
like he was standing at the door, and people was just walking by, and here come me and Daoud, and I'm like, yo, I know who you are. Yeah, you Prop Joe, and he was like, it would take somebody like you to recognize me. He was cool as a fan, man.
Cool as, I did some back search on that when we met him years. I mean, this is he's big into the community art theater.
Yep.
Yeah, he's passed away now, but yeah, he was really big in that. And he just a brilliant actor, yo. Like that type of talent. Imagine if he never was able to get on a show like The Wire.
Right.
Like that type of talent, he should be doing. Don't get me started, but
Yeah.
talent, man, freaking talent, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, for those of you who have not watched The Wire, go and watch it.
It's just at this point now, you not watching this because you just want to be contrite
You
and
different, right? Yeah.
obtuse.
You try to be that
I'm
one
just
that
cool.
said,
I'm just okay. All
I ain't
right,
watched
cool.
The Wire, yo.
Yeah.
But whatever, man. But yo, oh man, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, brother.
As he opened the show off, this been my brother for umpteen 100 million years. So he always tells people that he raised me.
You're like 6 months older than you. I raised him. Okay, cool.
But man, it was a blast. Look, man, we see the name. You had the wildest way jumping off. Any plans on rekindling or reigniting the wildest way? Or
I'm not opposed to it. I was actually talking to my dad the other week about it. He was like, during the pandemic, it was really good time, and we weren't doing the pandemic was a weird time, bro. It was a weird time in all our lives. So I'm not opposed to it. Just got to figure out the time and get the motivation. But I mean, who knows? Maybe in the fall. Let's toss some ideas around and get all the crew back together and toss some ideas around for the fall.
Yeah, I do want to.
Summer we getting lit though. We just getting lit this summer.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to do an episode. I want to get as many of the crew on here as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of it. Matter of fact, I'll record it. I won't go live with.
Let's say we got to edit that shit down.
Yeah, might have to edit that one out. But as always,
it's a 20-minute show.
For sure. But man, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Follow. Tell them where they can follow you, man.
Yeah, man. Just go to my I'm big on Twitter. I like Elon. He's cool. Can I say that on here? Or is that
yeah,
I don't know.
It's open mic, bro.
There we go. No, just follow me at The Wallace Way. And I definitely reach out and I'll be on I'm on it all the time, so it don't even matter.
Yeah,
so just hit me up.
He gives us all the latest and the greatest on.
And it'd be starting at like 4:35.
Yeah. But good people, man, that's another episode of Open Mic. I appreciate y'all tapping in. As you can see, I promise y'all that I will have more guests coming on. And we had a successful run at creating or putting out the platform that I created, or the format that I wanted for the show, right? This is what Dawood wanted to talk about, and that's exactly what we did. So I appreciate y'all tapping in. Follow your boy on Twitter and TikTok at OTR_Mike and OTR Mike_ on Instagram. For all my audio listeners, give your boy a 5-star rating.
Mm-hmm.
And the show is available on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And for those watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, subscribe. Also hit that like button, hit that bell button so you know when I got something else dropping. It's going to be a lot more coming along, as you can see. And that's it, man. Appreciate y'all as always. I'll catch y'all again next week, man. I'll holla.
Peace.
Peace.